My name is Wade, and Jesse's back there on camera. Say hi, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
All right, so what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be testing makeshift body armor, basically a backpack. Now, I'm not recommending anyone actually go and strap a backpack on themselves and try to go into a gunfight like this, because that's just really dumb. However, in the case of an emergency, such as a mass shooter situation, how much protection would a backpack actually give you? A backpack with some books in it. So I have here what we're going to test. All right. So first we have, this is my M&P 2.0 with a 4-inch barrel. It's a 9mm, and I have 3 bullets that we're going to test here. I have a full metal jacket. I have a Hornady Critical Duty, and I have a Federal HST. All right, so these are good quality rounds. This is my 1911 with a 5-inch barrel. It's a 45 auto, and I also have a Critical Duty for this. And I have a Remington Golden Saber and a full metal jacket. And just to test a smaller bullet, just to see if smaller bullets might be more dangerous in this kind of situation, this is a CZ70. It's an old military round from military pistol from Eastern Europe, and we're just going to use a full metal jacket for that, because anything smaller than a 380 really and truly, hollow points are pretty useless. So what we have here is just an El Cheapo throwaway book sack that we're going to use. I have in there 4 textbooks. The reason I chose 4 is I figured, people carrying books in between classes might grab 2 subjects worth of books, which would be about like this much. And we're gonna try this at about 7 yards. I'm not measuring it exactly, we're just gonna guesstimate it. And we're going to see how well this would actually stop a bullet. All right. I'm going to start with the full metal jacket. This is a 124 grain full metal jacket. All right, let's check it out. So it went through 1 book, 2 books, 3 books. Nope, it stopped on the 3rd book. And we have bullet was actually damaged by traveling through those books. So I'm gonna put the books back in. All right, this is a Hornady Critical Duty, 135 grain plus P. So this one's got a higher chamber pressure than the other 2 we're shooting. And this one was designed to have a balance of penetration and expansion. I don't think it's gonna penetrate any more than the full metal jacket, but it might, we'll see. Completely forgot to put my hearing protection in for that one. Let's check it out.
I was about to say something about it.
It's definitely noticeably louder. Okay, so 1 book, complete penetration, right, massive. But look, 2nd book stopped it. You can see the energy dump here and here, right? It lost all of its energy as it expanded some. And let's see if we can find the bullet. Oh wait, there it is. Bullet is demolished by the book. Completely expanded, dumped its energy, and did not effectively penetrate the books. Make sure this is nice and flat. So this is a 124 grain standard pressure Federal HST. These are actually my preferred self-defense round. They just work so well under so many different circumstances. But I don't think it's going to penetrate the book. These expand a lot. They penetrate a lot too, but we'll see how they do. All right, we'll check it out. Not the first book. Oh yeah, it hit the very bottom of the 2nd book, cut through it. And look, it wasn't a very good test, but it stopped in the 2nd book. And this is a premium self-defense round. It penetrated 1 book, but we're gonna try it again. Maybe I can get a little bit better hit, because I hit a little low. I have extra books, so we're fine. All right, here we go. HST, take 2. Okay, so here's the first book. Went through the first book clean. Second book, you can see the hole is larger, it's dumping energy, and that's it. Stopped in the second book. And there's our bullet. All right, so that concludes our testing for the rounds I was to test with a 9mm. I think since I've only got one shot that I want to try with the 32, we'll do the 32 auto, just to have something to compare it to. All right, so it's a full metal jacket, 32 auto. It's a very tiny bullet, comparatively speaking. And I forgot this gun doesn't have a lockback. So it's a little finagling to load one round at a time. So this is a 32 auto, 73 grain bullet. So it's a lot lighter bullet, a little bit smaller, not as much energy, but less diameter, so less friction as it goes through. But I think the full metal jacket may actually penetrate kind of deeply, but I don't think it's going to go through and through. All right, let's check it out. First one, stopped it right as it entered the second book. It entered the second book, but stopped it dead in its tracks. So the smaller diameter did not compensate for the lack of energy, and it did not penetrate as deeply as the full metal jacket 9mm did. So this is a full metal jacket. The difference with the 45, it's kind of fat and slow, which the broader diameter means that it's gonna, take more of the energy as it's trying to pass through. Fat and slow tends to go through fluids better than fast and skinny, fast and light. But when you're going through something solid like this, I don't think the 45 is going to penetrate that well. If any of the three penetrate, I think maybe the Golden Saber, because, well, it's got that hollow point that may cut a little bit, but they tend to not expand that reliably in 45. So that one may actually kind of just drill and force its way through. The full metal jacket, maybe has a lot of energy. It may do pretty well, but I don't think it's going to go all the way through. The 5-inch barrel may make a difference, but I don't think it's going to make up for the broader diameter of the bullet. This is a 235 grain. It's standard pressure, but it's a little bit higher velocity. This one's made by Norma. So it's about 930 feet per second, which is pretty fast for standard pressure 9mm, 45. All right, let's see how we do. All right.
Well, the bag moved.
Huh?
The bag moved.
Well, yeah, because I mean, there's a lot more weight, a lot more energy, but there's also a lot more friction as it's passing through. Went through the first one without a problem. And this is the full metal jacket. Remember, the 9mm full metal jacket penetrated much more than this. It stopped in the second book, although it dumped a lot of energy into this second book, as you can see it. And even though it's a full metal jacket, it deformed and flattened and expanded some as it passed through the book. It's just so much friction, so much energy. It's actually quite hot. There we go. And I'm gonna do with this, so I don't undershoot again. I'm gonna put these two fresh books in the front, and we'll put these upside down. So this is a 220 grain, Hornady critical duty. It's plus P, so that means higher chamber pressure. With 9mm, higher chamber pressure doesn't make as big of a difference, but standard 45 chamber pressure is actually quite low. So plus P usually makes like a big difference with these. But still, this is designed to have a balance between expansion and penetration, and the full metal jacket did not go through. So I don't think this one will either, but I do think it's going to cause a lot of energy damage to the book, probably just same as this one, the second book. It'll cause some problems to it, but we shall see. All right. All right. bag move that time too?
Maybe a little less.
Well, that means it may have penetrated more. Because it didn't. Oh, I can see pieces of the bullet. Wow. It demolished the first book, massive energy transfer, but it broke apart. So it lost its weight. It didn't retain its weight. That plus P, that higher energy, dumped in that first book, and it did massive damage, but all it did to the second book would have been the equivalent of bruising. So it did not adequately penetrate even the second book, just kind of damaged the surface. All right, now if any of the 45s might go through, it'll be the Golden Saber in my opinion, but I still think it'll stop it. I'm gonna get some fresh books and we'll check it out.
Pick up what I can of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah. Cool.
This is the hottest one so far.
Look at that. That thing drilled. It dumped its energy. That plus P, that higher energy, starting off, and then it expanded and broke apart. It dumped its energy quick. So the last round we're checking, we're gonna test. This is a Remington Golden Saber. These were probably about 20 years ago or so. These were like super popular with law enforcement. They're great with 9mm, but with the 45s, the 45 just doesn't seem to generate enough velocity to cause these to reliably expand. So we'll see how it performs compared to the others. But if any of the 45s will go through, I would say it'd probably be this one. We'll see. All right, let's see what we did. Okay, well I hit kind of high, so we're gonna have to redo it. But where I hit, it went and it busted through it pretty aggressively. So I'm gonna get a second one of those, and I'm gonna try to aim a little lower. All right. Remington Golden Saber, 45 auto, take 2. Clean cut, kind of like I had said, because it doesn't expand, but it's got that hollow point. It really cut kind of cleanly through the first book, comparative to the others. Right here, second book, dead stop. So most of these rounds stopped at the second book. So with our 9mm, out of all the rounds we tested today, the Full Metal Jacket, 124 grain, standard pressure 9mm, penetrated through 3 books. Everything else penetrated into the second book. We saw massive energy disruption in the critical duties more than any of the others. Like this one really expanded and dumped a lot of energy. The HSTs dumped a lot of energy, but not quite as much as that critical duty. But the critical duty was the plus P. So everything else we had here today was standard pressure. So this is a higher pressure bullet. So it means it has more energy to start with. But the 45 definitely, this critical duty had a lot of energy going in, and it dumped it, and it would have hurt quite a bit, even being hit with a backpack. But it did not penetrate. Full Metal Jacket did not penetrate. It smashed and almost expanded like a hollow point through the book. And the one I thought might have penetrated still only made it into the second book, but it did cut a much cleaner hole through that first book. And smaller diameter didn't seem to make a difference. It didn't make up for the lack of energy compared to the 9mm. And so the 32 auto did not excessively penetrate any more than the others did. All right, so there's our test. Every single one of the handgun rounds we have tested today in 3 different calibers has failed to penetrate through 4 books. The highest penetration we witnessed was with the 9mm Full Metal Jacket, and it only penetrated 3 books. Okay, so closing remarks, I would say this is definitely not something you'd want to trust your life with. I wouldn't suggest throwing a book sack on if you're going into a gunfight. However, in a situation that's out of your control, that you were not prepared for, such as a mass shooting scenario, perhaps you're in the mall carrying a book sack after school and you have it with you, or maybe you work in an office and you just happen to have a briefcase or something that's got some books or something in it. It can provide some protection from handgun rounds, all right? And that's what we have for you today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.